day, do you think about what people are going to think about you or say about you when you start creating, when you start putting yourself out there and doing courageous things? Um, I sure do. I sure did to a larger degree. What actually triggered it recently, I received my first hate comment in a while, and it was actually a really awesome experience. So it was literally having breakfast, and Dad says to me, "Oh, you know the podcast thing you do? I've seen there's a little comment in there from a random person basically saying something. I just go check, and it basically says, 'Shut up, you idiot.'" And I kind of laughed for a second. I obviously was put off kilter for a moment or two there. Um, and my first reaction was kind of like, "Oh, this is kind of upsetting. Oh, I'm a little bit embarrassed by that. I don't know if I want to put anything out there anymore." And then, like, a couple of seconds later, I kind of just digested it like a lot. And then I thought to myself, "Oh my God, what has actually changed? What is different?" Because the Jacob of about 3, or even just 1 or 2 years ago would have totally been paralyzed by that, would have been thinking about that right now, still being affected by that, would have affected his day, would have actually upset him and kind of discouraged him for months on end, right? So when I first started off with, putting myself out there, these sort of fears had a grip on me. And if this has a grip on you as well, I highly recommend investigating and inquiring into what is behind that and what are the mechanics of what's going on there, because it's really magical, it's really surreal, but your potential is actually to be beyond, right, what people think of you, beyond what people say about you, and to be rooted in your self-love, in a sense of peace and creative direction and assertiveness. So it's really, really awesome what's in store for you. Your potential is that you can be yourself, be goodness, be love to others, and you don't need to be affected by people's nasty comments or nasty things, right? So how do you actually do that? How do you go about reaching that level? Because once you reach that level, you can put yourself out there, you can grow more and more and gain and allow yourself to have more attention. And one more thing I'll say is that Grant Cardone says, if you want to make more money, you got to get more attention. And if you're going to get more attention, you're going to get more hate and you're going to get more love. So you should be really polarizing people. So look, if you're not starting to polarize, you're not really doing it. So this is kind of the thing I learned, that when you start putting yourself out there consistently, you will get this polarization. And this now is my opportunity, and will be your opportunity, to deepen your sense of grounding. So when I was a kid, I was a pretty good kid. I'd listen to my mom, I'd listen to my dad. Thank God I had a really awesome family. I was very blessed and lucky with that. But what would happen is that I would equate being a good person with actually making sure my parents are happy and doing what my parents tell me and kind of listening to their opinion. And what I did, I actually took that and I extrapolated it out to every single person in the world. So a random teacher, like a random kid at school, or anyone, all of a sudden I was on the leash and on the hook for all these people. And it's like, in order for me to be good, I had to make sure that they're happy with me, right? And that's exhausting, right? And what can happen is you can go through life with these subconscious beliefs, with these things going on in your head, and that's what's going to hold you back. That's what's going to make your life a misery. That's going to make you kind of start hating people, feeling upset around people, or pushing away from people, rejecting your own humanity as well. Now, the way that I used to get over these things, the way that I used to get over the fear of what people would say and whether they'd approve of me or disapprove of me, is through courage, is balls to the walls, just going for it, putting myself out there, doing scary things. And it was awesome, but I'd always have a courage hangover. I like to call it courage hangovers. You basically do something courageous, and then what happens is that you kind of fear what people say afterwards, you need to retreat, and you kind of back down. It's like a lot of energy to get there, and it's a bit of an energy dip, right? The courage hangover. But here's the thing, like this is like the day it changed. Like, I'd go on to many things that I've done that I've regretted afterwards, kind of felt down about afterwards, and like this recovery has taken like multiple months, right? But the day it changed, the day it actually changed, the moment it changed, I was listening to a Michael Neal audio, And it was just at the point where he'd said something around the effect of, people's effect over you existed purely within yourself. So let's just let that land. Like, people's effect over you exists within yourself, right? It's actually your thinking, right? It's your thinking that creates someone's effect on you. So if you're getting like hate speech, or like someone roasting you, or kind of saying you're cringe, it's not really about what they're saying and they're doing. It's about how it's making you feel, your insecurity, and what's going on inside you. Now, if there's nothing going on inside of you about it, you notice it, but there's no reaction, there's no need to change, there's actually just pure security left inside of you. You can experience that with a sense of security. So really, the key to this is actually looking within and seeing how your experience works. And the secret is that you look to your feeling. If you're feeling low, then get out of your mind, go take a rest. Essentially just listen to your mind, how you could feel better, and go ahead and do that. Right? Stabilize your mind. Go back to your peace. And if you're feeling a good feeling, just stay with the good feeling. Now, what's going to happen when you start getting like a reactive or negative message and it impacts you, you should start getting excited, because what that message is doing is it's actually leveling you up to a higher level of security. So what's happening, you're clearing out these vulnerabilities inside of you, so that you become invulnerable. And what happens is that when you become invulnerable to what people are saying about you, you can take that energy and transform it into more attention, more success, more love, and more service to the world. And one final thing, what is right and what is good and what is loving always exists within you, right? It is within you. It is that drive within you. So you take that love and you go out and you give it to the world. It's inside out into the world, right? You do not need to bring it from the world into you. You don't need to change the world around you. Remember, the answer is always within you. Something thinking, something feeling. And as you learn to let your thinking and your feeling change, as it naturally does, you will digest these things very quickly. And then eventually you won't need to digest them at all. And eventually it'll start feeding you energy, feeding you power. And that's like the ultimate level. So I'm wishing you all the best. Much love. By the way, I do some personal coaching. So if you are interested in that, check me out on Instagram, or just send me a message or shoot me a comment, and we can figure something out. But besides that, wishing you all the best. And yeah, just make sure you just go back to your peace, my brothers. Go back to your love. Go say a prayer. Go ground yourself, right? And what will happen is that you'll digest it quicker, right? And you never, ever need to be afraid of your experience, okay? Never need to be afraid of experience. All things can be loved. All things can be released. And power, right? The power that you're looking for is coming from releasing your fears, right? Releasing your insecurities and letting the love well up and giving that to the world.